Does risk exist? Risk as a concept is just the gathering together of individual threats. Merriam-Webster's defines risk as possibility of loss or injury, but that definition is still fairly vague. Loss of what? Injury to what? Our pride, our finances, our relationships? The types of risk out there are so diverse that viewing them all as a single concept can be a bit too reductive. The one thing that that general concept of risk does help with is simplifying our view of investing. Whether that's in a financial, emotional, social, intellectual, or physical sense, or some other that I haven't identified. We need to isolate the risks that a particular action holds, the individual risks, not this vague general concept of risk. Keep in mind, choosing to hold an investment is an investment action as well. So each choice that we make, whether that is to act and buy something, or act and sell something, or just hold on to something, those are all active choices. And because assets change in value, when you hold something, you are choosing to invest in the future of that thing. So make sure that whatever you're holding is a good investment. Some of these investment actions are going to take us away from family and friends a lot, or cause stress in our relationships by changing how we interact with them. So we need to consider each risk on its own weights and say, is the value large enough for the loss or injury this could cause me in my relationships, my finances, however it might affect me. And then we compare that to any other associated risks and make our decision with a fuller picture in mind. Risk is relative. The weight of the risk is in relation to our vulnerabilities. Our other holdings radically change what makes us vulnerable and how much of a vulnerability those are. So the exact same risk can be world-shattering for us in one context, in one moment, but acquiring a simple asset or having a simple skill to fall back on can almost completely eliminate the weight of that risk. Investing is ultimately a game deeply rooted into every aspect of our lives, with consequences small and extremely large. And the choices we make adjust the ability of the pieces to affect the game board. Imagine a game of chess where the moves you make change the abilities of the pieces you have. Infinitely harder, but infinitely more rewarding when we succeed. So when we're analyzing risks, we need to zoom out. Don't get trapped in a solely financial view. And remember that sometimes the solution to a very risky trade is a different trade, a different investment that minimizes that risk. So sometimes the first step is actually in a different direction. We have to consider the nature of the risks that are facing us and treat the root problems, not the risks themselves. Build yourself a shield against the source of the risk, or find a way to avoid it, or find a way to overcome the risk, or utilize it for benefit when it hits you. It's it's as simple as run, hide, or fight. It's the same fight or flight reflex that human beings have had from the dawn of time. And the game of risks is a game of perspective. Change the view. Reposition yourself. Pivot. We can sometimes use risks to our advantage. What could have been a weakness can turn into an advantage. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to do some digging on opportunities to hedge against the risks that we face in the financial system right now, please subscribe and drop a like on the video. I'll be putting more content out soon, especially relating to some of the current trends that we're facing. For those of you that have stuck around to the very end, you may want to take a peek in the Discord chat. I dropped an image in there last night with a list of some mining companies that have been doing quite well lately, silver mining companies. So definitely, do your own research, but something interesting to look at. I'm looking at some of those right now as a hedge against some of this economic devastation that is coming our way and is almost here. We're facing food, energy, real estate, and debt crises, and we're just starting to see the effects of those. It's going to be brutal. So be prepared for the shock waves as the cost of living increases faster than people's incomes, and make sure that you're set up in such a way that you and your family do not have to worry about taking those hits. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next week.